Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And Salamu alaikum. We're honored to be here with you and to be in the midst of this extremely auspicious and meaningful gathering of leaders throughout the world. As we begin today, we'd like to invite you to consider and to envision or even to pray for. Can you imagine how much different our world would be if we could tap more deeply into the human resources related to wisdom? And if we could live our lives and do our work, govern our organizations and our countries in a way that reflected a deeper kind of wisdom. We've been fortunate for the last 45 years to devote ourselves to studying many of the world's great wisdom traditions, and also to bring those teachings and that understanding into the laboratory, into medical centers, into universities, to work with hundreds of leading organizations and tens of thousands of leaders around the world. And what we'd like to offer this morning are a suite of different practices that can help us tap into a deeper kind of wisdom. And then to share some reflections on how this wisdom and these practices might integrate into our lives, our work, and to also provide, beyond the science, an opportunity for you to reflect a little bit together. So that's our hope for this day.
Okay. Sabah el khair to you. Thank you for joining us for this wake-up call this morning. And really, in order to be receptive to wisdom, we need three core elements to be present. We need to be awake, to be attentive, to have awareness of what is going on, to see clearly within us and around us, to be present, fully present to the whispers of inspiration and insight, so we don't miss these inner teachings and guidance, and both from the inside and from those we learn with and learn from. So we need to be awake, and we need intention. We need attention. That's one element. We need intention. We need the intention to be open to learning. We need the intention that our wisdom is based on, that comes from and is for the highest good, for the benefit of all. That intention that we can embody this wisdom in a beneficial way. So attention, intention. And we need an attitude, a certain attitude that is conducive to learning. So an attitude of openness, of curiosity, of acceptance and trust, loving kindness and compassion. So I invite you, as we go through our presentation this morning, to keep checking in on these three elements within yourself. Well, how is the level of your attention? What is your intention in being here? And how is your attitude to receive these teachings, these insights that we'd like to share? And to begin, we invite you to join us, to bring our voices together in the beautiful poem from the Persian poet Mevlana Jalaluddin Rumi. It's a poem about waking up. So if you like, we'll do line by line, and you can repeat after us in English or your own language, whatever language is comfortable for you. And the poem goes like this. The breezes at dawn have secrets to tell. The breezes at dawn have secrets to tell. Don't go back to sleep. Don't go back to sleep. You have to ask for what you really want. You have to ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth. People are going back and forth across the threshold, where the two worlds meet, where the two worlds meet. And the door, it's always open. It's always open. And it's round.
And it's
round. Don't go back to sleep. Don't go back to sleep. So this conference, this summit is really a dawn. It's really a new beginning and really wonderful opportunity to listen deeply and to be able to share widely. So don't go back to sleep. This is our prayer for this morning. But it's a wonderful reminder. So let's take a moment together also to just really become fully awake and to look around, be aware of your surroundings, to come fully present. Maybe look around, see something that you haven't seen before, or listen to the sounds, feel the temperature in the air, become aware of who else is here with you. Just really tune in. Let your awareness fill the room. Feel your body sitting in the chair. Become aware of your surroundings and your body, what it feels like to be awake at this moment. It's the only moment you've been awake like this before, in this particular way. So, to really receive the gift of this moment. And also be awake to the movements of the mind, thoughts, images, emotions. Just check in with yourself and see what is it like to be alive in this moment. And also be aware of that deeper dimension of your mind, that mysterious indwelling presence of awareness itself, in which the various clouds and winds of experience, of perception, come and go, but that sky-like dimension of your mind that's always present, open, can allow the birds to fly through, the airplanes to come and go, all the different thoughts and feelings that are always changing occur within this space of open, clear awareness. So to be awake to this inner sky-like dimension as well.
When's the last time that you were in a room, other than praying, which you're fortunate to be in the culture that's like that, but to be in a room in a business setting, a government setting, where everybody who's there is really awake to the moment. They're attentive to what's going on in the environment around them. They're attentive to what's happening in their bodies and their minds. And they're also really listening. What a miraculous quality of being that is. And we've had the good fortune to work with organizations with thousands of people where this becomes the norm when people show up for a meeting. We have important work to do. Let us just take a moment to fully arrive, to get present, to make sure that all of our human resources are available to do the important work that we have to do. Einstein reminds us that the world in which we live is growing ever more complex, and that the level of thinking that we've done so far has created many problems and many crises, and that we're not going to find solutions to these global crises from the same level of consciousness or unconsciousness that created those problems. Therefore, what we have to do, Einstein says, is to raise the level of our consciousness, to deepen the level of our thinking and our listening in order to find the guidance and the solutions and the wisdom that we need to build a better world. So what we'd like to do today is to really offer like a string of beads for you of some different practices that you might incorporate into your life. And even if one of these is like a little jewel that you carry with you, alhamdulillah, it's a good day. So we've done a lot of work with the U.S. military, Special Forces. One of our students actually from the Special Forces trained some of the Emirati Special Forces. And they used to call us and ask us questions, and we'd coach him, and then he'd pass it on here. But the Army War College a number of years ago came up with this notion that we're living in a VUCA world. Things are volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And within this VUCA world, business as usual, the old norms and standards simply don't matter. Does anybody think that the waves of change in our world are going to get any smaller? So this is a good time for us to learn how to surf. This is a good time for us to learn how to raise the level of our consciousness, to source a deeper kind of wisdom. Interestingly, the word vuka in Zulu means to wake up. And we're honored to offer this wake-up session, but to offer a reminder that it takes courage to wake up. It takes courage to read the news, to listen to the heartbreaking tragedies that are going on in our lives and our world, to not go into overwhelm with that. So one of the best ways, one of the principles of this waking up is that the more we listen, the more we will hear. And the more we hear, the more and more deeply we will understand. This is how we source a deeper wisdom. So for a moment, I just invite you to, again, come back to not going back to sleep, to look out through your eyes and know you're looking out through your eyes, to, as you breathe, feel the sensations of the breath as it comes in and it goes out, and to gently smile to yourself and let that smile anchor for you this feedback loop within you that you're awake, that you're awake.
You're aware, and you are aware that you're aware. How amazing.
And part of what happens as we start to wake up is that then we become more sensitive to what's going on within us and in the world around us. We begin to attend to the whispers, and we don't wait for the screams. And we're able to bring a deeper kind of wisdom and understanding and responsiveness to that. So we'd like to share with you a practice of a contemplation on gratitude, which we were asked to develop after the success of the Search Inside Yourself program at Google. They asked us to develop the follow-on program for that, which is called Google's Meditation and Mindfulness and Meditation Laboratory. And this gratitude practice is one of the favorite of the Googlers around the world that we've worked with. So.
And really coming back to this quality, this element of attitude, the attitude of gratitude is an attitude, one of the best to promote happiness and well-being and to actually clear stress, the biochemistry of stress from your body and your mind. When you're remembering what you're grateful for, it creates a very healthy and optimal state of being. And it's a wonderful practice to do frequently throughout the day. We'd like to invite us into experience a short video on gratitude. And as you're watching this video, to be awake to how it touches you, what it brings up for you, other people or things in your life that you're grateful for.
Great. So here we go.
I watch TV. It's just some shows that are pretend. And when you explore, you get more imagination than you already had. And when you get more imagination, it makes you want to go deeper in, so you can get more and see beautifuler things. Like the path. If it's a path, it could lead you to a beach or something, and it could be beautiful.
You think this is just another day in your life? It's not just another day. It's the one day that is given to you today. It's given to you. It's a gift. It's the only gift that you have right now, and the only appropriate response is gratefulness. If you do nothing else but to cultivate that response to the great gift that this unique day is, if you learn to respond as if it were the first day in your life and the very last day, then you will have spent this day very well. Begin by opening your eyes and be surprised that you have eyes you can open. That incredible array of colors that is constantly offered to us for pure enjoyment. Look at the sky. We so rarely look at the sky. We so rarely note how different it is from moment to moment with clouds coming and going. We just think of the weather. And even of the weather, we don't think of all the many nuances of weather. We just think of good weather and bad weather. This day, right now, is unique weather. Maybe a kind that will never exactly in that form come again. The formation of clouds in the sky will never be the same that is right now. Open your eyes, look at that. Look at the faces of people whom you meet. Each one has an incredible story behind their face. A story that you could never fully fathom. Not only their own story, but the story of their ancestors. We all go back so far. And in this present moment, on this day, all the people you meet, all that life from generations and from so many places all over the world, flows together and meets you here like a life-giving water if you only open your heart and drink. Open your heart to the incredible gifts that civilization gives to us. You flip a switch and there is electric light. You turn a faucet and there is warm water and cold water and drinkable water. It's a gift that millions and millions in the world will never experience. So these are just a few of an enormous number of gifts to which we can open your heart. And so I wish you that you will open your heart to all these blessings and let them flow through you, that everyone whom you will meet on this day will be blessed by you. Just by your eyes, by your smile, by your touch, just by your presence. Let the gratefulness overflow into blessing all around you. And then it will really be a good day.
So carrying on with this theme of gratitude, just as you breathe, reach up and touch your heart. Be mindful of how you're touched by the stream of images and words and feelings, memories that have arisen for you. And for a few moments in your own way, just be mindful of whoever or whatever comes to mind that you're grateful for. And as you breathe, just draw them into your heart or into the focus of your awareness and hold them there. Experience the gratitude you feel for that person or that aspect of your life or those inner qualities. And as you breathe out, just extend and radiate your blessing, your encouragement, your loving kindness to whoever or whatever you're grateful for. And as someone else or something else comes to mind, breathe them into your focus of awareness, hold them there, and as you exhale, just extend the sense of heartfelt care and appreciation or blessing. And notice how that touches you, how this practice lives within you. Be mindful of the richness of this. Carrying on from there, as we come to this still point in the whirling intensity of our lives, in the sense we're coming to ground ourselves in this deeper quality of presence and open-heartedness that is like the space in which all the thoughts and feelings come and go. You could say that that busy mind is like the manager mind, that the executive mind is more like this clear, open awareness. Intention.
So listen, taking a moment now to come back to the element of intention. What's your intention for this day? How do you want to live the gift of this day? What's important for you to remember, to keep staying true to keep returning to? What's important for you to be the best leader that you can be, the best parent you can be, the best friend you can be, to do your work for the highest good? Just take a moment to listen into your heart and to set an intention that can help you stay true to what you really hold dear, what's really important to you in this work.
And be mindful how that guidance comes to you. Does it come as imagery? Does it come as words? Okay. And now holding this intention, this sense of clear direction for the day in mind, then imagine yourself as a shining node within the vast network of your life, connected to all your Facebook friends, all your colleagues and your coworkers, all your family and friends, your suppliers, and all the people in your supply chain. And imagine now, call close to you someone who is a source of inspiration for you for the qualities you wish to embody today. Call them close enough to you in your mind that you can actually reach out and hold their hand. Actually do that. Reach out to your father or your grandfather, an aunt, or uncle, a teacher, a sheikh who inspires you. And imagine as you reach out to them, you can breathe in and receive and draw strength and inspiration like you're downloading files from their server. And again, as you exhale, imagine that you can extend your love and your gratitude back to them. And as you reach out to them, imagine that through them that you sense the streams of inspiration that they reach out to, and that whoever you reach to reaches to whoever they reach to, sources of inspiration who reach to their sources of inspiration back through time. All the lineages, all the ancestors, all the teachers of your teachers' teachers, so that each breath you receive, and with each exhalation, you radiate your gratitude back to all of them.
And in a similar way, in a gesture of balance, as you breathe, as you receive waves of inspiration, of blessing, of strength, also, as you breathe out, radiate to those who look to you now or in the future, whether you know it or not, who may look to you in a similar way as a leader, as a friend, as a source of inspiration, as a role model. Just let your intention and your open-heartedness, this deep caring that you have for the well-being and the highest functioning of all, as you breathe out, just radiate your inspiration out to those whose lives you touch, and through them, to those whose lives they touch, and to those whose lives they touch. And just feel the sense of infinite expanse, being connected to this really vast circle of living beings, of relationships, of teachers, colleagues, all the people in all the countries who may be touched by what you bring back from this summit. Just let your heart reach out in the sense, in this present moment, to really affirm your deep interconnectedness with each breath, because the breath connects us. We're all sharing the breath, so with every breath we can remember that we receive and we radiate to each other.
You could say that any system that's suboptimized or any being that is suffering when you can connect ourselves with more of ourselves, we move more towards wisdom, towards reality, towards finding the resources that we need. Imagine trying to live your life or do your work just with your device, without the cloud, without the network. And realize how deeply and intimately connected you are to boundless resources that you can draw strength and inspiration from. As we learn to just center ourselves and open our hearts and minds, there are boundless treasuries and libraries and networks and resources and inspirations that are available to us. So we'd like to take a few minutes and just talk about some of the science behind this. One way to understand some of the dimensions of wisdom and how this is coming to be seen, especially in the field that we work in, one of the fields of interpersonal neurobiology, is that there's three primary dimensions to wisdom. There's the coherence of our mind, there's how integrated our nervous system is, and there's how deeply attuned we are to the field of relationships in which we're embedded. And we'd like to look at each of these briefly. William James, the father of modern Western psychology, said, "The greatest thing in all education is to make the nervous system our ally instead of our enemy." Look how deeply people suffer because they haven't befriended their minds and their bodies. Here we've got two brain scans. You can see the nose is at the top of the screen, the ears on the side. The people on the right are a group of college students who were trained in the practice of limitless compassion and the radiating love and kindness to all beings. The people on the left are long-term practitioners who really are masters of the art of inner practices. And they're clearly running two different operating systems. The reds and the oranges there are related to gamma frequencies in the brain, the high frequencies that build integration across different neural systems. Which operating system would you like to run? Yeah. What we find is that through our practices, what gets fired gets wired. As we train our minds, we change our brains. How many of you have had life experiences? Yeah? And how many of you have noticed that those life experiences have helped you form certain beliefs and identities? And how many of you have noticed that those identities and beliefs have shaped your values and what you care about? And that what you care about determines our choices and our lifestyle, right? So look at my finger for a moment without wavering your attention, and imagine that as you look at that all the neural circuits in your brain that are used to pay attention in that way are being activated. And as they get activated, they get strengthened. And as they get activated and strengthened, those neurons grow and they make more connections. And the secret one is slowly growing a body, as Kabir once said. That as we activate our brain through these mental practices, we're actually rewiring and restructuring our brains. That's how this works in terms of developing greater integration of our nervous system. Coherent mind. How many of you would like, imagine this, hold a light bulb in one hand, an incandescent light, and a laser beam in the other. Which has more power? The laser beam, because it's more coherent, it's pulsing and integrated, and it's not sputtering and confused. So as we are able to develop greater coherence in our minds, we can build a better world. As this UNESCO Charter says, since wars begin in the minds of men, it's in the minds of men especially that we need to erect the ramparts of peace. So as we train in these ways, as the brain gets more hooked up, what naturally begins to emerge are what are called 9 executive powers. 9 executive powers like moral intelligence, greater attunement in social relationships, greater awareness of our bodies, capacity to regulate our emotions, greater senses of mastery. And the ancient correlate of this would be all of the noble qualities that we as human beings embody, that we have access to, these resources that are available if we can bring a deep sincerity and discipline to how we live our lives and do our practice and build the cultures of our organizations. It's all about finding that still point in the midst of the whirling world. And finally, the quality of attuned relationships. As we begin to wake up, we're going to be more sensitive and tuned in to what's going on in the world around us. This slide shows that the parts of our brain that feel personal pain, which are the red colors, are right next to the parts of the brain that feel and sense the pain of others. We're in an empathic resonance and compassion, that we're intimately connected and attuned to each other, and many people protect themselves from that rather than opening to that more deeply. So we'd like to share a practice with you around this.
Yeah. And this practice actually is one of the core curricula at Stanford University at the Center for Compassion and Altruism Research and Education at Stanford, CCARE. So it's really very inspiring to know that this center is right in the middle of Silicon Valley, high-tech world, that people are also educating the heart. And this practice helps us to go beyond the tendency that we have to just have prejudgments and prejudices, to separate ourselves without even knowing people. We see people. How many of you know how easy it is to have a judgment about someone just based on how they look, or what they seem to be, what your image gets triggered of a person without even knowing them or having ever spoken to them, and you can separate so easily. This is a practice that does the opposite, that helps us to connect. So it's a very healing practice, and one that can create the foundation for peace. So it's called Just Like Me. Take a moment just to look around the room. The person doesn't have to be looking at you. Maybe with each of these, look at someone else, and just, from your heart to their heart, just to recognize, just like me, this person wants to be happy. Just like me, this person wants to be healthy, to be free from illness, pain. And this person, just like me, wants to feel safe, wants their children to grow up in safety, just like me. Just like me, this person wants to feel at ease, not to be agitated, to have a deep sense of peace, to be free from dis-ease, to be free from anxiety and suffering. Just like me, this person wants to be successful, to live a meaningful life, to feel that their life has purpose, meaning, just like me. So you get the feeling for how this works. You can do this with specific people, especially people who bring up maybe more challenging emotions for us, or for just strangers, people that you see in the street, friends that you haven't made yet. It's a wonderful practice, even in your mind. If you think of someone and you have a judgment about them, you can just come to this deeper level of our shared humanity with this practice. We've done it. We were working in London recently, and we were being in the tube, the underground, at rush hour, and people are all very tight together, and just like me, this person wants to arrive at work healthy and safe, or just like me, this person wants a safe spot to stand in the train. And it just completely transforms your relationship to people around you when you do this very simple, profound practice.
So part of your homework assignment for the rest of the day or the rest of your life is experiment with this. This is an operating system you can set as your default rather than judging and comparing and analyzing. Here's a video that really illustrates this.
It's easy to put people in boxes. There's us, and there's them. The high earners, and those just getting by. Those we trust, and those we try to avoid. There's the new Danes, and those who've always been here. The people from the countryside, and those who've never seen a cow. The religious, and the self-confident. There are those we share something with, and those we don't share anything with.
Velkommen. Jeg kommer til at stille jer nogle spørgsmål i dag. Nogle af dem kan godt være lidt personlige, men jeg håber, I vil svare ærligt på dem. Hvem herinde i rummet var klassens klovn? Hvem er bonusforældre?
Who are step parents?
And then suddenly, there's us. We who believe in life after death. We who've seen UFOs. And all of us who love to dance. We who've been bullied. And we who've bullied others. And then there's us, the lucky ones who've had sex this past week. We who are broken-hearted. We who are madly in love. We who feel lonely. We who are bisexual. And we who acknowledge the courage of others. We who have found the meaning of life. And we who have saved lives. And then there's all of us who just love Denmark. So maybe there's more that brings us together than we think. TV2 Denmark. All that we share.
So if we look at the science, a healthy, high-performing system at any level has two elements that comprise a quality of being integrated, highly connected, highly functional, embodying wisdom. Those factors are that there's a deep honoring of the uniqueness of each of the different elements and components of that system, of each individual, of each different part of the brain, of each different organ in the body, that each is brought to its highest level of integrity. And then those elements are linked with each other. And when the system is integrated through that linkage and through that differentiation, then the system avoids the two extremes of rigidity and fundamentalism, or of chaos and anarchy. And what we find is this quality of flexibility, adaptability, coherence, energy, and stability, dynamic stability. So can you imagine, as leaders, if we were to find this still point within us, within the whirling complexity of our lives, where we can smile and go, wow, it's really crazy right now, or I'm really stressed. Can you imagine the power that's available to us of building organizations where people know these kinds of skills and can come to quiet together and hold the important questions and challenges of our time and listen deeply for guidance? And then go to the laboratory and do their experiments, or go out and work with their customers or their colleagues or their constituents and gather data and then bring it back and listen deeply for what next, what else, that we might develop like a big antenna array seeking deeper wisdom together through our collective wisdom and intelligence. What if we learn to surf these huge waves of complexity of these times together and tap into deeper collective wisdom and inspiration. So many of you are fortunate to live in a culture where 5 times a day you pray together. Could you export that to the world in a way that we could all find ways to do this together? So,
Let's just take a couple of moments to integrate and connect with a couple people next to you, 1 or 2 people next to you, just a little group, just to reflect on something, a jewel from this morning that you'd like to remember, take with you to help you live on purpose and in the way you really want to be in this world. Something you'd like to remember, carry back with you, integrate into your life, just to anchor it into each other's listening, and just for a few moments. A kind of a review. What was meaningful for you this morning, or a value?
I think,
Not a sense.
okay. Thank your partners.
Notice how wonderful it feels to connect in this way, to share.
Thank your partners and come on back. Let's just get in a word. Okay. How many of you feel some impact from having shared with somebody else? You're touched by that? In a word or an image, how are you left feeling having shared with another person just now? Just in a word or an image, call it out. Relieved. What else? So if a living system is suboptimized in any way, a movement towards wisdom is to connect us with more of ourselves. Yeah? So as we're coming to a close here, we'd like to just say, thank you for caring. Thank you for coming. Thank you for leading. Thank you for seeking for a deeper kind of wisdom. If you like, we're happy to share some of the quotes and the links for the videos with you. If you like, give us a card or just send us an email and say, I was at your session. Help me find some of those resources. May you carry with you even one little treasure from this morning that you can bring into your life, embody more fully to help you and all those who look to you as a leader live with greater wisdom, greater mercy, greater compassion.
And don't go back to sleep. Bring your attention, your awareness, your good intention, that open, curious, accepting attitude, discerning attitude into the rest of this day to share with everyone. Shukran jazilan.
Shukran jazilan.